Hello guys, welcome to my channel Data Science Carrots. So as discussed in the previous video, I will just show you the series of Python language. This is the first episode of starting of Python. So in this video, I will show you the agenda that what are all the topics that we'll cover today. So in the previous video, I have shown you that the brief of what is this channel about, and I have shown you the roadmap and what all the things that we will cover in this YouTube channel. So in the first we'll start with Python. So this is my first Python series episode where you will see that basics and also what is the use of Python, and I will show you the agenda so that you can understand more. So again, I will show you the brief of roadmap, what all the things so that you can get some idea. I will just show you that roadmap. So this is the roadmap that I have just shown in the previous video. What are all the topics that we can cover? We can cover the Python, Pandas, NumPy, SQL, and MongoDB, and the some of and machine learning algorithms, all the algorithms and NLP and deep learning. How we can use these in order to implement the model, and what are all the things that we'll see in the future videos. So coming to the today agenda, we'll see this is the today agenda. So we'll see what is Python and how the Python is useful on data science domain, and what are the key characteristics of Python, and what are the application and where and all the Python is using, and what are all the websites that you can use in order to practice the Python. So and what are the local platform you can download and install and you can practice in your PC, and the installation procedure. So I will just show you that the installation of Anaconda, so that because we'll in the future we'll practice the model building in Jupyter notebook. So if you download Anaconda, you can use that many applications. I will just show you. So first we'll start with what is Python. So here you can see that Python is a high level and versatile programming language. What do you mean by this? Means versatile programming language defines it is comfortable with any predefined libraries, because Python has many predefined libraries. It functions in many ways. So and it is very easy to use, and it has a simple line of coding where everyone can understand easily, where we can compare this Python language with Java, because if any code of line is having one line, because if there is any coding, suppose we need to just print hello world. So in Python we can print this hello world in one single line. But when coming to the Java, we need to write 3 to 4 lines. So Python is very useful, and it is a versatile language where it can has many functionalities, and where it can perform many activities. So it was developed in 1991, and we can see that these are the key characteristics of Python. One is it can read easily, readability, and it is interpreted language, and it is object oriented language, and it is dynamic typing, cross platform, versatility, etc., etc. But I have included this one, but there are many key characteristics of Python. Next, we can see what is Python in data science. Python, why we have preferred to use this Python in data science? Because in order to implement the model building, we'll prefer to use Python or R language, but I prefer to use Python. Python has many inbuilt functions where we for because in model building we need data manipulation, data wrangling, data pre-processing. For that data manipulation, we definitely need pandas, numpy. These pandas and numpy are the predefined libraries of Python, and we needed matplotlib and cbon for data visualization. So there are many inbuilt functions of data science, and there is many functionalities where we can calculate the mathematical perform problems easily in order to implement or perform data analysis. So so there are many use cases, and it has many mathematical libraries and functions. and we can see what are all the applications and what are, I can brief and I can explain what is these key characteristics in detail. Coming to first thing, what is readability? Why we say that readability is a characteristics of Python? We can see here. These I have just compared between the Python and Java language. Here you can see that readability, it explains that Python syntax is very clear and readable, because if any new person came who don't know that what is the use or what is the syntax of Python, when they see this they can easily understand it is printing the hello world. So it is, we can easily understand this. So here you can see that when coming to the Python language, here you can see the print function is used to output text to console. This one line prints the string hello world to the console. So these single line print that hello world string directly. We don't want to define any variables, anything. But when coming to Java, here you can see that it has having public class hello world, public void stat, because in this here it is having the main method and also system.out.println statement, which is used to print the string hello world to the console. Because Java requires a bit more coding compared to Python, as you can see it has defined the class and a main method. But in Python we are just saying that it is just hello world program. This Python code and this Java code both returns the same output, but you can see that how many lines of code in Java they are using and how many lines of code they are using in Python. So that's why we have said that Python is very clear and readable language and very easy to use, and it has minimum number of lines where we can implement easily and in minimum time. So the next is that characteristic is that interpreted language. It is saying that Python code is executed line by line to test and debug easily without compilation, because in Python when we are writing a code, the Python compiler will take line by line of code in order to debug, and if any line is having error it can stop and it can throw the error on that particular line. But when coming to Java first uh, code will be compiled into bytecode before execution. It won't take line by line. It will take compile into bytecode and then it will go to execution. So this is how this is what they have called as interpreted language. They said that Python is an interpreted language. Coming to the third key characteristics, it is object-oriented language. Here you can see that Python supports both procedural and object-oriented programming. This defines that in Python we are just using in Python we can use both procedure programming and then object oriented programming. Here I have just differentiated how the procedure programming looks and object oriented programming looks. Object oriented programming defines that in any program we will use the class, init functions, methods, because we can reuse this method what we have defined again and again. But when coming to the procedure language you cannot define, because we are just writing the code line by line. But in object oriented programming, if we use any methods or function we can reuse the code with using classes. So that's why we call Python supports both procedure and object oriented programming. And coming to dynamic typing, here you can see that Python is a dynamically typed, meaning that we don't want to specify any data type of the variable when we declare it. Here you can see that I have just compared the Python and then Java. Here in Python you can see that we have directly assigned a value to the variable. We didn't define, or we didn't define the variable, declare the variable of particular, declare any data type to that particular variable. Here you can see that we have directly defined num is equals to 42. But in Java, we have defined with particular data type and then with a variable that it is assigning to the particular value. So these both these differentiates between Python and Java. So that's why we call it as dynamic typing. And coming to that next characteristics, it is a cross-platform where it is compatible and it can be used in many operating systems like Windows, Macs, and Linux. It can That's why we call it as versatile programming language where it can be used in any operating systems and or any interface. And it is a versatile language. It supports multiple programming and it is very flexible and it has multiple functions and it has many activities. So this is all the key characteristics I have defined clearly. Every characteristics why we called it as key characteristics of Python. Coming to the next thing, next we can see what are all the applications of Python. Basically, we are using now in machine learning we are using in order to build the model in data science domain, because this is also one of the application of Python. We can use Python for web development, software development, machine learning, GUI interface, gaming programs, and there are many applications in a, by using we can implement by using Python.